This is another character opinion video for Karen Jackson from Shameless. I fucking hate Karen. There was nothing redeeming about her character. There was nothing good about her character. There was nothing that... I felt bad for her towards the end, but there was nothing that could redeem her. She was a terrible person, a terrible character, a terrible daughter, a terrible girlfriend, and just in general, terrible mother on top of that. So we meet Karen. She's getting a tutoring session with Lip, and she ends up sucking him off because she says, I think it's science or history turns her on, one of those subjects, and that's how her and Lip get going. I find it creepy that Lip pimped her out to Ian, but we're not going to talk about that, and she just did it anyway. And then her and Lip continue fucking, which is alright, cool. I don't know if they ever discussed it or not, but she's fucking other people. Alright, cool. Again, you do you, boo. I'm not going to fucking judge. But, what the fuck was I saying? Baby brain is real, y'all. Anyway, she ends up getting pregnant. Before she gets pregnant, her dad catches her giving head to Ian, and that's when he ends up leaving, freaking out, and she starts to, seriously regress in her personality, and it gets on my nerves. Yes, her father did call her a whore later in the series, because she starts to discuss her sexual promiscuity, and he calls her a whore, and she, goes completely dark, dyes her hair black, cuts it up, piercings, and fucks Frank on... Basically, actually kind of does rape Frank in the basement where her father was staying. Sends it to her father, and he ends up offing himself. Just that sentence alone. She fucks/semi-rapes Frank, of all people. Sends it to her father. And he ends up killing himself. Just that sentence alone should tell you something. But anyway, before she finds out that he killed himself and then he's just missing, they skip to her bettering herself in a sense, going to that's not SA. Yeah, it would be Sex Addicts Anonymous, right? SAA? Anyway, she goes in therapy, meets Jody, where they don't have sex, I don't believe, because it's Sex Addicts Anonymous. Or, no, they do have sex. I don't know. She definitely ends up getting pregnant from what she thinks is by Lip. And plays the back and forth game with Lip. Oh, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to give it up. I'm going to give it up, but we're going to get money for it. And the only way we're giving it up is if we get money for it. I'm going to milk this kid's, milk it for all it's worth, blah, blah, blah. Ma'am, it's a baby, not a fucking car. But anyway, she's just a terrible person all throughout this pregnancy. And then goes into labor. Ends up having not only a baby with a disability, I guess. I don't know if it would be considered a disability. I could be wrong, but he's a baby born with Down syndrome. But he's very clearly an Asian baby as well. So he's definitely not Lip's. And that leaves Lip confused as shit. And the other family backs out when they find out that the family who's willing to adopt him backs out when they find out that he has Down syndrome, which is so fucking heartbreaking. I won't be able to back out knowing that my about-to-be baby has something wrong or something different about him. It's just heartbreaking. But they back out. And she wants to get rid of the baby. She doesn't even want to touch the baby. She wants the baby gone. I think if the baby did not have Downs, her personality would have been different towards it. But Karen is so selfish that I think that was the problem. She doesn't want to touch the baby, doesn't want to look at the baby. Sheila and Jody end up kidnapping the baby, in a sense, and taking it home and raising him, or trying to raise him. Karen gives her mother the ultimatum of me or the baby, and she chose the baby. And Karen leaves. She does eventually come back, only after calling the baby's biological father's parents to come get that baby. And they do. They take the baby and they don't let Sheila see it anymore, which is heartbreaking because Sheila loved that baby. But I think Sheila was okay with giving him up because she knows that she wouldn't have been the best carer for him at the time, but she still wanted to see her grandson, obviously. But Karen's a fucking cunt for doing that. And she pretty much admits that she did it. And her mother doesn't want to speak to her anymore. And then she ends up getting hit by the car, slipping into a coma, and Jody wakes her up by eating her out, which is gross because she wakes up with like the memory of like a child, or the mindset of a child, so that's just gross. And then they leave the show and never to return, which is fine. Jody and Karen. But bye. I wish she would have left the show a lot sooner. I wish she never came back after having the baby. Like, bye. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Karen Jackson from Shameless? Please comment, like, subscribe, and let me know what you think.